McCarthy Insurance Group, serving the community for over 70 years. For home, farm, motor, life, health and business insurance, log on to mig.ie or free phone 1800 50 11 11. Probably your best call in 2024. Charles McCarthy Insurance is trading as McCarthy Insurance Group, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Real people, real opinions, Real Talk Radio. The multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.
To tattoo or not to tattoo. It's hard to believe that in this day and age that we're actually having this conversation. But you may have heard in the news that Garda bosses sent trainee officers home from the training college because of visible tattoos. Yeah, it's 2023 and this is still going on. These tattoos were apparently mostly on the lower arms of the trainee guards. So they were like bottom sleeve tattoos, from what I believe. And it was felt that because of this, because they could be visible to the public, it was not appropriate, as it was against Garda dress code. Now, they've been told they can get back to Garda Training College if they have the tattoos removed. But this, of course, has sparked off a huge debate. Many people are scratching their heads at the idea that we could be sending people away from the Garda force, literally sending them back home over something as silly as a visible tattoo. There are people who are saying that this is correct. We need to have standards with the Gardaí. And I don't know, maybe somebody can answer this question. I've been trying to get the answer for the last half an hour and I haven't been able to get to the answer to it. Are Gardaí allowed to have facial hair? Just male Gardaí, I presume we're talking about for this. But are Gardaí allowed to have facial hair? Is a guard allowed to have a beard? Because I don't recall seeing a guard. I've never seen a guard with a beard. Yet if you go to the UK, you will often see members of the police force that do have facial hair. And I'm just wondering, just as a by the by, are the Gardaí allowed to have beards? And if not, why not? But anyway, the tattoo issue has sparked a huge debate as to whether or not tattoos look professional or unprofessional. The Garda Representative Association obviously came out straight away about this, and they responded to the incident and called for a review into An Garda Síochána's uniform and dress code. But I want to know what you think about this. Does it make a difference? Does it make a difference if the person arresting the scumbag or the criminal has a tattoo or not? Why would that make a difference? That's what I don't understand. Why would that make a difference what they look like or whether or not they have a tattoo or not? I just don't understand it. But then again, if you think about it a bit, if you go into a bit deeper, there are lots of jobs where people aren't allowed to have tattoos. Have you ever seen a solicitor with a visible tattoo? Have you ever seen a judge with a visible tattoo? Have you ever seen a bank manager with a visible tattoo? Have you ever seen, I'm trying to think of other jobs where they wouldn't have them, cabin crew on a plane. They don't have visible tattoos. So even though we all seem to be au fait with tattoos in this day and age, there's still this issue surrounding them when it comes to certain jobs. So a couple of questions. Would it bother you if you were arrested by a guard that had a tattoo? Or would it bother you if a guard came out to investigate a crime that had happened in your house and the guard had a tattoo? And secondly, do you believe the training college was correct in sending home members of An Garda Síochána, trainee members, because they had tattoos on their arms? Send us in a WhatsApp now, 087 188 0008. 087 188 0008. I would love to hear from you on this. Let me go to John first of all. John, you're very good evening.
Hi, how are yourself?
Good. Now, what did you make of this here in this news today?
Well, just on the facial hair, the Gardaí can actually, you can grow a beard now, but it has to be well kept and tidy and short, because there are one or two guards around Cork City and they actually have facial hair, but it's fairly tight, the beard, you know.
Okay, so it can be stubble, but not a full-grown beard.
Well, it can be stubble either. It can be just kind of tidy, you know what I mean? Stubble looks kind of very unclean then, and that wouldn't suit, I suppose, on Garda Síochána. If you kind of look like you the show on the tail the night before, like, and you looked a bit worse for wear.
Okay, but regards tattoos, what is the issue here?
Well, I suppose the bigger issue of all is the vote in our confidence coming down into Harris and the lack of policing, where people are getting battered on the streets. And here we are talking about tattoos, right? Now, as regards the tattoos, I think they were quite right to send the two guys home. Look, if you want to have tattoos, if they're on the body and you can't see them, obviously the uniform will cover them up. I think anything in the face is a no-go for Gardaí, and like the neck or whatever, on the lower hands where they can be seen, right? I think that's a no-go. Like you just made a comment there, Jeremy, you said that doesn't matter like if the Gardaí are arresting some scumbag, whether they're tattoos or not. Well, it's not all about the scumbag being arrested, it's about the law. The Gardaí are supposed to work for the law, not the government. They work for the people, for the law, and you're supposed to be above reproach. You're supposed to look the part.
Yeah, but I'm hanging. The majority of the public now have a tattoo of some sort.
Yeah, but that's the public.
Yeah, but when you're saying they're representing the public, the majority of the Irish public, there's more people now that have a tattoo than don't have a tattoo. So
there is because you see, this is it. I mean, the whole thing like before, the perception was, and this is the perception. Oh, this is not me just saying it, but the perception was that people that had tattoos were, we'll say, from the rougher parts of town, right, and were usually put down as messers, right. But all that has changed because tattoos tattoos on women are okay up to a point. But when I see a woman with her calves all the way up to her knees, like tattooed, like and her legs destroyed when she's in the summer shorts, I just wonder, like, why would you do that?
Because they like it. They find it fashionable. It's body art.
I think it's horrendous, like, I mean, to see a person with both leg, even one leg done, like, I mean, and a big tattoo, like, in a girl. I think it's absolutely horrendous.
Okay, but that's your personal opinion. But, okay, but a Garda carrying out, say a Garda at a checkpoint this evening, in a short-sleeved shirt, checking for tax and insurance, what difference, or how is it going to affect his job if he has a tattoo on his lower arm? How's that going to affect his job?
Well, you see, it's not the affect the job. It's the fact that, I mean, there's a code of kind of discipline there, which to me has slipped tremendously. I think the guard should be clean-shaven. I don't like the new uniform with no tie. I know there's only a clip-on tie for safety reasons, because otherwise you could be strangled with your own tie. But I think when they got rid of the tie and they have this casual appearance now, I think it's too casual. I think, again, as I said, they should look the part. Like, I mean, you're supposed to represent the law.
But what does look the part mean? I mean, you're saying representing the law. Having a tattoo does not mean that you don't represent the law. It just means that that is the kind of thing that you like. It's a personal preference.
Well, if you want to have a tattoo, then don't become a guard.
That's ridiculous, though.
No, it's not.
It is. We're crying out for people to join on Garda Síochána. We want people, they're always going on about there not being enough people in the police force. And here you have trainees being sent home simply because of a very outdated, in my opinion, attitude towards tattoos. Now, don't get me wrong. I personally don't like tattoos myself. I don't have any. But gone are the days where tattoos were just seen as a rough thing.
But should the Gardaí, so we'll stretch it out a bit so here, Johnny, right? Should they be allowed ear piercing? Should they be allowed rings in their nose? Should they be allowed turning up a rock up with a Mohican hairstyle? They're coloured pink. Okay. Where do you draw the line?
Okay, obviously ear piercings, no, because, if they're involved in a scuffle or something like that, it could be pulled out, pull their ear off or whatever. Mm-hmm. But as regards a tattoo, it does not affect how someone does their job.
I think the perception is there that guards have to have a certain code. You have to be, look, it's like the politicians in Dáil. Like most people wear a shirt and a tie, and it's out of respect for the Parliament, right, representing the people, right? But now you're another cohort crowd going in there, and they're dressed like a bunch of hobos, and you know what I'm talking about.
Stay there for a second, please, John. If you'd like to get in on this, 087 188 0008, 087 188 0008, send us a WhatsApp. A lot of you are doing so already. A lot of you interested in this topic. It's Nighttime Talk with Jeremy Dixon here until 11 o'clock. And we're talking about the big story of the day. The guards being sent home from trainee college, all because they had a couple of tattoos on their arms. And am I alone here in thinking that this is the most ridiculous overreaction ever? Derry-Ann says, did you ever come across undercover Gardaí? They have tattoos and more. I wasn't aware of that, to be honest with you, that they had tattoos. This is ridiculous, says Joanne, that we're even having this conversation in 2023. Every single person I know has a tattoo of all walks of life. John is living in the dark ages. Stay there for a second, please, John, if you don't mind. Let me go to Josephine. How are you? You're on Ireland's Classic Hits Radio.
Hi, how are you? How's things?
Well, I feel like it's Back to the Future here, and I've gone back to the 80s where people still have an issue with tattoos.
Well, I don't have an issue with tattoos because I have 2 small tattoos. But no, I agree with you. Like, I mean, this is 2023. If them guys are prepared to go out and protect the people of Ireland, a tattoo shouldn't make a difference.
And you're saying you have 2 yourself. When did you get them yourself? Or is that a too personal question?
You could call it a midlife crisis.
Yeah, they always are, aren't they? Those midlife crisis tattoos. But are they visible?
Well, one is on my wrist. Now you can only see it if I turn my hand around.
Yeah.
And then I have a small one on my ankle. So they're the only 2 I have.
And you see, 30 years ago, that wouldn't have been the case that a woman, if you don't mind me saying, I don't know your age around, but a woman of your years wouldn't have a tattoo. And now it's standard. I mean, I'm trying to talk my mother into getting one. But it doesn't, do you work or what sort of job do you have?
I do work, yeah. And sure, look, it doesn't make one bit of difference.
Yeah, does it affect your job in any way that you have a tattoo?
Not at all. Why would it?
And if you were stopped tonight on the way home and the guard at the checkpoint had visible tattoos on his arms, would you go, oh my God, you're disgusting. You can't uphold the law with those tattoos?
No, not at all.
There you go, John. Absolutely.
Like if they're there and they're prepared to go out and protect the people of Ireland, like, I mean, they're doing their job. What visible tattoos they have shouldn't come into it.
Well, John.
And the only way that I would think it might make a difference is in time to come, if they did come undercover, that they might be identified more through their tattoos.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah.
If you're talking about guys that are doing undercover, it's obviously that's different ball game. These guys have to blend in. They have to have their hair a certain way. They have to have tattoos. They might have even have piercings and whatever. Because if you're up and down with the criminal fraternity, like, you have to look the part. You have to look a bit rough, tough, whatever, to blend in, right? But, I mean, this whole thing, you see, look, if they allow those tattoos now, even though they were on the lower wrist or whatever, no, and they were sent home, right? The thing is, like, what about the next guy then that says, we say he's on his holidays and he comes back to do his tour of duty again, and he's got a tattoo on his neck. And if they say, sorry, you can't have that, I mean, you shouldn't have got that on your holidays, being a member of Gardaí Síochána, right? And then he's sent away. And if he says, no, what about the guys that have the tattoos in their lower arms? They're like, you're allowing them, so you're discriminating against me. This is where it starts.
But there should be no discrimination whatsoever.
But that's the best so. Like, I mean, girls, they should be able to have tattoos on their face and rings in their nose and in their ears and Mohican hairstyles. And look, just live. Just throw the bloody thing out, the baby in the bathwater. Throw everything out.
That's a ridiculous comparison. They're talking about Mohicans. Nobody has a Mohican haircut I haven't seen a Mohican haircut since the 80s, for God's sake. We are talking about something that is literally a bit of ink on your arms. By the way, most of the time, when was the last time you saw a Garda's arms even on display? You very rarely do. So what difference is it going to make, John?
Well, you'll see them now because they have the short sleeves, obviously, even though what passes for a summer, like they're still wearing the short sleeves, right? But the point I'm making is that, look, if they allow the smaller ones that are visible, right, it won't be long more then what follows after that you're going to get bigger tattoos and you're going to get tattoos on the neck and maybe on the face, and they're trying to get ahead of it.
I have to be honest, John. I think you're in the minority here with your opinion. Stay there for a second, please. I'd like to hear from you. 087 188 0008 if you want to get in this. 087 188 0008. We're talking about the guards being sent home from trainee college, and it's caused absolute uproar. And I can understand. It's a disgrace, says this person, that in this day and age, sending that guard home. Well, it wasn't just one guard; it was several Gardaí, just because he has a tattoo. I have 20 tattoos. And I work in retail. I have them on my neck and my hands, and I'm in my 50s. Now, is that okay? If you went into Tesco's or Dunn's, would it bother you, John, if you were being served by a person with how many? 20 tattoos?
But that's different, you see, because that's retail, right? I mean, but I guarantee you, if you have 20 tattoos...
But no, it's not different.
But the chance if you have 20 tattoos, I guarantee you won't be fronting the desk in a 5-star hotel.
You see, a job is a job, John. That's what I don't understand. A job is a job.
No, but the thing is, people's perception, you see, if you come in, you see a guy, and he might be the nicest guy in the world, but are the management going to put a guy or a girl fully tattooed with their neck, face, the whole of her arms, and the front of a desk, and it's the first person that you meet in that 5-star or 4-star hotel? The chances are no, you won't get the front desk.
No, I have to agree with you on that you very rarely see, well, no, I don't think I ever have seen somebody on the front desk that had a tattoo. And in fact, it just shows you how your attitude, sometimes unconscious bias is what it's called. I had to visit a family member about a year ago in a very posh private hospital that they were staying in, really posh private hospital, you know, one of those ones I'm talking about, and went into the reception of the hospital to find out what ward she was in, and the person that was behind the desk that was working the reception, she had a load of tattoos on her arms. She had her arms completely bare, and she had sleeve tattoos on both arms. Now, I have to say, it didn't mean she didn't do her job any better. She was great at doing her job, but I just thought, oh, that's strange. But it didn't bother me, John. It didn't bother me that she had them, because she was able to do the job that she was able to do.
Well, when I see young men there, like fine guys that you'd see now go to the gym and all day, and they look after their bodies, and when I see the 2 sleeves done, my God, I think it's absolutely. It's looked like they didn't wash their arms for about 20 years. I think it's horrendous. Okay,
do me a favour. Stay there for a second, please. Let me go to line 2. Mary, you're on Ireland's Classic Hits Radio. How are you?
Hi, how are you? What is he talking about? People have an awful image of tattoos. Do you know what I mean? They just because they get a tattoo in their arm, they maintain that they're rough and they're dirty. They're not. They're respectable people. I have 2 tattoos and I've no problem with them. I can't understand why the guards were stopped because they had tattoos in their arms. They put them there for a personal reason. Yeah. People do that.
It's a personal choice, isn't it?
It's a personal choice. Yeah, I have 2 and they're my personal choice.
Are they visible, by the way?
No, well, I can make them visible if I want.
Oh, that's okay. That's a bit early in the night for that.
Like, you know, it's my choice. If I wear a string T-shirt, they'll be worn. I have them on my 2 shoulders.
Ah, okay.
Like, I'm not ashamed of them.
And no. Why should you? Why should you be?
I'm not. And I have a lot of friends. I'm into bikes, motorbikes, and all my friends have tattoos. And they think because the bikers have tattoos that they're rough and ready. They're the most down-to-earth people that you could meet. And they just give an awful image, which is totally wrong. But I don't think people are like that anymore.
So you think John is in the minority?
Sorry?
You're out on your own, John. Not many people feel the way you do. And what age are you, by the way, if you don't mind me asking, Mary?
Sorry?
What age are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Me, I'm 61.
61?
I got 2 tattoos done when I was 60.
Fair play to you. Delighted for you. John, 61 years of age, 2 tattoos.
Yeah.
But just look, I have no problem with that lady getting tattoos. I have no problem with bikers, bus conductors, retail staff, whatever. We're talking about on Gardaí Síochána here. That's what we're talking about. And these guys, because they're personal tattoos, right, obviously, but it's now become personal because they are told they'll have to get rid of them or there's no job there for them.
But that's ridiculous. That is crazy. That shouldn't be.
But would you be happy to see the Gardaí getting the tattoos on their neck and on their face?
Well, no, their neck and their face. But then again, that's their own choice. And what a tattoo, what difference should that make to him doing his job? He could do a better job than the man that doesn't have any tattoo or the lady that doesn't have a tattoo.
It's all about the perception of respect. Like if you go into court in the morning, you have a baseball hat on. You won't be allowed to keep that baseball hat on in the court. You'll have to take the hat off. Out of respect to the court.
But we're talking about tattoos. We're not talking about hats.
But that's the way so. Like, I mean, somebody shouted to the judge, "Hey, I'm not taking off me baseball hat for you."
Well, we're talking about tattoos.
We're talking about Guardian tattoos, not tattoos in general.
Yeah. Go to America, go to England. They all have tattoos. And there's nothing wrong with it. So what's the big problem?
But I don't care what you do in America. I'm talking about the Gardaí here. There has become a problem here. And the reason I believe, this is my personal opinion, that if they allow, even though they're supposed to be smaller tattoos right, on the lower hands or wrists, right, that if they allow that it's going to open the floodgates.
For what?
For more tattoos and bigger tattoos and tattoos on the neck and tattoos on the face and tattoos everywhere.
What's wrong with a tattoo? There's nothing wrong with a tattoo. It's a
Because
personal choice.
The girls are representing. The girls are representing. They always
we put them on for a personal reason. They don't go out and say, I want to put on a snake or whatever. There's a reason behind it. And if you ever ask anybody, just you ask somebody what that tattoo means, they will tell you there's a story behind it. There's a story behind every tattoo. And that's why they're very personal.
And when you got the tattoo done, what was the feedback from family and friends, Mary?
They just asked me to know what was the symbol of my tattoo, and I told them the symbol of the 2 tattoos that I got done, and they said, "Lovely, that is a lovely thing that you did." It was it was something that was very personal to me, and I wanted to do it, and I did it.
Okay, but let me ask you the question. How come, when you're on an airline, how come cabin crew don't have visible tattoos? I mean, how come we never see a member of cabin crew with a tattoo?
Well, you see, I suppose they can cover them up.
Yeah, but why aren't they visible on them?
Well, you can, if you do see some girls, you can see them. They're just above their sleeve.
I've never actually noticed. Now, not that I'm staring at the cabin crew on the flight or anything like that, but I've never...
Yeah, you see some girls, or if they have them on their legs, they wear thick tights. And they're not. I know a girl that's just only after joining an airline, and she had tattoos on her legs, and she wasn't fired. She was told she just gets strong tights on her legs.
You see, there you go. So they're okay with her having them, but she's been told to cover them up. So
yeah, but she wasn't dismissed from the airline.
Yeah, because no one's ever going to see them. That's the reason.
Yeah, but the guards shouldn't have been dismissed either. They can wear the long sleeves. So they shouldn't have been dismissed. Yeah, you see, that's what I don't get. They literally can, and they pretty much always are wearing long sleeves, or they're wearing jackets and stuff like that. So the chance of you actually ever seeing one of these tattoos, I mean, I'd love to have been in the room when whoever the person was, the head of the Garda training unit, turned around and saw the tattoos and what was actually said. Stay there for a second though, please, Mary. Mary is 61 years of age. She has 2 tattoos. They're very, very meaningful. They're only on display if she... depends on what she wears on top, but I assume they're on her shoulders. But she thinks we need to get with the times. I'd like to hear from you. 087 188 0008. It's a nighttime talk with Jeremy Dixon live for a Monday night. And let's go to Martin. Martin, how are you?
I'm good, Jeremy. Good evening.
Good. You're not a fan of tattoos either?
It's not a case of not being a fan of tattoos. If a person wants to, for want of, in my opinion, a better term, adorn themselves head to foot with tattoos, let them knock themselves out. I think they regret it later on in life, but that's not the issue. The issue is that when you're dealing with a police officer, and I heard what you said about in the UK and the United States, I don't give a tuppenny damn about them in the UK and the United States, because on a day-to-day basis, I don't have to deal with them in the UK or the United States or anywhere else. But I quite frequently, because of my job, have to deal with Gardaí here. Now, in my opinion, if visible, and I'll stipulate, visible tattoos are allowed, our members on Garda Síochána are allowed to have visible tattoos, it's just another step on that slippery slope. They've lost, in my opinion, all kinds of credibility in all kinds of ways.
Would you stop?
No, I won't stop. Please let me speak. You are
speaking. I'm letting you speak.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so well, let me just finish off. It's unprofessional. No matter what you say, it instills in me, and I honestly believe in most people of my generation, certainly, it instills in them a feeling of, this person is unprofessional. Now, if you want to go into a profession where, you're thinking of putting in 20, 30 years and you want to give it your best, there are all kinds of things that, whether it be a trade or literally a profession, the law or whatever else, medical school, be a pilot, there are all kinds of things that people have to sacrifice to get on in those trades or professions or whatever. We all have to face sacrifices. I think it's just another step on that slippery slope. They're already in uniform.
Sorry, what's the slippery slope, though, of having a tattoo in your arm? I don't get it.
I'll tell you what the slippery slope is. Look at the uniform they're wearing. It conveys nothing of authority or presence. Absolutely nothing. It looks like a glorified McDonald's uniform. I don't know how they ended up with that uniform. I believe that they went off and they got some woke designer to come up with something that they could put on their resume to say that they did this. I don't know who came up with the design. I've no real interest in it, other than the fact that I think it looks ridiculous. If you take somebody that comes to this country from another jurisdiction and they come in, it'd be hard to pick out what we would call a guard and what others would call a police officer. It would be hard to pick them out from the people that travel on the Lewis or whatever else as security people. That is not what you want from a professional police force. And you can dress it up in all kinds of ways. You can say whatever you want to say. I'm telling you, it is unprofessional.
In your opinion, I would imagine.
Yes, in my opinion, it's unprofessional. I'm only talking about.
I know, but I would imagine the vast majority of people don't have an issue with it because tattoos are the norm now, Martin. They really are.
Well, you're saying they're the norm now. I stand open to correction, but where are you getting your figures from?
Well, I'm getting them from the fact that most of my friends would have them, all walks of life.
Yes, but you're talking about a demographic that you know that's around you, and you're applying that to everyone in the nation.
No, but I'm talking about I have friends I have friends who are tradesmen, tradeswomen. I have friends who are in the legal trade who have them. I have friends very high up in business that have them. I have a friend.
So the majority of your friends have tattoos, yeah?
Yeah,
visible tattoos.
Yeah. Why do you find that hard to believe?
Well, I don't find it hard to believe because I don't know your friends. What I'm saying is that the majority of people, and I deal with large numbers of people during my working day, and the majority of people, now of course I see visible tattoos. I do. But the vast majority of people I work with or have to visit during my working day, the managers I have to deal with, the staff I have to deal with, don't have visible. They may have tattoos, but they're not visible.
Okay, let me go. Mary's been listening to you there, Mary. What do you say to Martin?
That's the shame having a tattoo. There is no shame in having a tattoo.
I never said there was any shame in it.
As I said before, people put on a tattoo for a personal reason. They just don't go out and say, oh, tattoo my hand there, or tattoo my leg, just put anything on it. There's a meaning behind every tattoo.
No, hang on. If I could just say, you see, you're saying it's personal. Now, when you put on the uniform of a member of An Garda Síochána, you have sworn an oath to defend the Constitution and the citizens of this country. There is no room in that uniform for you to put in a personal note or any kind of a badge, a personal badge or anything else. And as bad as the uniform is, it is just a uniform. It's not meant to convey anything personal. Now, if you want to cover yourself in tattoos underneath that uniform where it can't be seen, as I said, knock yourself out. I didn't say there was anything shameful in it. I never said that. Tattoos have no place. I accept, yes, when guards are walking up.
What difference is it going to make to him doing his job? It's going to make no difference.
Excuse me, Mary. You're the one who's saying it's something personal. If it's personal,
yeah, but if he has to do it, hang on. It's going to make to his job. It's going to make no difference. He's still going to do his job as good as the person that has no tattoos.
Hang on for a second.
No issues.
Okay, let him speak, Mary. Let him speak.
Hang on for a second. If I have something personal, it's personal to me. I don't go around displaying it to the world. I think you're using a fallacy there to say, well, if it's personal, why are you displaying it to the world? For me, something personal is something that means something to me. I don't go around displaying it to the world. And no matter what...
Well, do you ever put a photograph up on your Facebook page, Martin?
I don't have a Facebook page because I don't do Facebook.
Okay, have you ever had a social media account?
No.
Okay, so you're not into sharing anything. That's fine. If your house was broken into, Martin, tomorrow, and the guards came along, and one of them was wearing a short sleeved shirt and had tattoos, would you send him away?
No, of course I wouldn't. That's not the argument.
Well, no, it is. It is the argument because
no, it is not.
Do you believe that a Garda with tattoos on his arms is able to carry out the job as well as a Garda that doesn't have any tattoos?
Do I believe it? I believe that in his innate ability, he may be. But I expect that when I'm dealing with a guard, the same as if I'm dealing with a brain surgeon, which I may have to do, I would not feel particularly confident if that brain surgeon arrives out and he has visible tattoos.
Oh my God!
For God's sake.
Hang on, I'm just giving my opinion, okay? I'm entitled to my opinion as everyone else is. My opinion is I would not feel the same confidence because I'm thinking, why does this person, if they don't have the restraint to know that will have an effect on some people, they shouldn't do it. It's exactly as you said. Why is it that cabin crew on an aircraft don't have tattoos? I'll tell you why it is. It's because there's a perception that if that person has visible tattoos, did they really think this through? And when it comes down to all this personal thing and everything else, I can tell you, certainly amongst the men, the vast majority of men that I know that have tattoos, when I've talked to them about it, or when they, when the issue would come up, and I don't go and say, oh, that's horrible, why did you do that? But if the subject did come up, the vast majority of them got tattoos on a night out when they had a few too many drinks.
That's not always the case. No, that
is rubbish. Total rubbish.
You're not in a position to tell me that my experience of conversations I've had is rubbish. Okay, you're just not in that position.
Just because you were just what you said there a while ago. If you were going in and having an operation and seeing a doctor with a tattoo on him, you'd have a different idea. God, come here, you want to go and get a brain surgeon.
As I say, I may need one. And I'm not being sarcastic.
Okay, do me a favour, Martin. Stay there for a second, and thank you very much for your call, Mary. 087 188 0008 if you want to get in on this. The lines are actually jammed about this. That's how passionate people are on this discussion about tattoos. And, when we were talking about this topic earlier on and whether or not we should do it or not, I was like, no, people don't have an issue with tattoos anymore. I mean, you will not find someone that has an issue with tattoos anymore. And there you have John and Martin. Stay there for a second, please. Martin, let me play this WhatsApp voice note from John. Hey, John.
Jeremy.
This is Derianne.
I don't see the difference if I had a scar on my face, that I had an accident, God forbid, and if a tattoo would send a guard home, they obviously wouldn't accept somebody with a face with scars on it. And that's absolutely discrimination. I remember years ago in the airline, and my sister, when she joined up, we all have medicals, and she had a scar going down one of her arms, and the doctor actually measured it, and if it had come below the short sleeve shirts we wore then, she wouldn't have got the job. Now, okay, that was way back. Now, 2023.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we've moved on now, Derianne. Here's John.
So I have a question in relation to the tattoos and the Gardaí. Is there a uniform regulation? So are there regulations that the Gardaí recruits are meant to abide by in relation to tattoos and where they are actually placed? And also I can kind of see where John is talking about, there can be perception, but there's also, you got to also look at the fact that some people can find tattoos offensive. What might be a personal thing to you could actually be either religiously or racially insensitive or offensive to somebody else. So that's something to keep in mind too. But, it's a hard one to take. But if there's regulations, they got to abide by the regulations.
Okay, John, I get that. But in very few cases, a tattoo would be offensive to somebody. Unless somebody has a tattoo of a swastika, would you find it offensive? Or if somebody has a tattoo of a Mickey on their arm or something like that. Jesus, I mean, yeah. But I don't think the Gardaí were sent home from Templemore because they had tattoos of swastikas or Mickeys on their arms. I don't even know if you'd be offended by a Mickey tattoo, but there you go. Or who even has a Mickey tattoo?
Ireland's Classic Hits Radio.
Trust me, Martin, you won't ever have to deal with a brain surgeon. You have to have one first.
Hiya, Jeremy. It's great to hear you back on the air again. Absolutely always love you. You crack me up, you do. I think there's a certain standard you should have when, you're a guard. Yeah, I think it's a bit inappropriate to have tattoos. And I also think the new uniform, the polo shirt, is disgusting.
Oh.
it's a joke, actually. I think it looks awful. That's just my opinion. But yeah, no, I think depending on your profession, I really think you have to have certain standards. That's just my opinion.
Thanks, Joanna. Thanks for that lovely compliment as well. Haven't gone away, haven't gone anywhere. Okay, yeah, I get the point you're making. But there was a time when I was growing up, when I was a kid, you wouldn't hear a member of An Garda Síochána with a flat Dublin accent. They were always coaches. Sorry, pardon. No offence to any country people, but they always had a very thick country accent. You would not rarely, you would never hear a guard saying, "How are you? Do you know why I'm pulling you over?" And now that is standard. You have a lot of, which is great, you have a lot of members of An Garda Síochána who are from so-called disadvantaged parts of Dublin who are now members of An Garda Síochána, which just didn't happen back in the day. And it does happen now. You've all walks of life as guards. And I think that's great. That's great that it shows that An Garda Síochána is inclusive. Just not if you have a tattoo. Now, Eddie, I think that was your message I played there. You're not happy with Martin, is that right?
I don't have you. I didn't send in a voicemail.
That wasn't you. It's full of Eddies tonight. And okay, what do you want to say on this? Well, you believe he's full of crap anyway.
I mean, like judging the surgeon. I mean, he's saying there he'd question the surgeon's judgment because he got a visual tattoo. Well, I personally question his judgment. He could be refusing the best surgeon in the bloody world, and he's judging him on a tattoo. So who's really making the stupid decision? You know what I mean? So it's all about perspective. I've got a few tattoos in my later life. I just decided, I said I'd like a tattoo and I wanted to get them and I got them. You know what I mean? It doesn't, and I'm self-employed. And mine are visible. Mine are on my calves. One is on my forearm. One is actually a cover-up.
Oh, disgusting. How can you even do your job? You're not professional.
No one ever bats an eye. They go to my house and I'm glad. You know what I mean? It doesn't affect me as a person. It doesn't affect me as my job. What's the problem?
Well, Martin, what is the problem?
Right, okay, first off, Darianne said, what about somebody with a scar? Now, I have scars. I have work scars. On my right arm, I have two very elongated scars, and on my left arm, I have one elongated scar. They're work scars. They're not self-inflicted. I didn't put them there myself. Now, if a guard turned up to my door... Pardon?
What's that got to do with tattoos? We're talking about people...
Excuse me, if you were listening, I was making a reply to something that Darianne said.
I know, so I'm talking about tattoos. I'm only asking you, what's your point?
I'll address tattoos. What you had... If you just wait a moment and have patience, please, I'll address what you said. I was replying to Darianne. Now, if a guard turned up at my door, or if I have to have an interaction with a guard who had a scar... First off, I'm not going to judge him because of a scar, because I doubt very much it was self-inflicted. If it was, I would definitely question his ability to do his job. Secondly, if I found out that he got that scar in the performance of his job, I'd commend him all the more. Right? That's dealt with. Now, what you have to say, yes, you're absolutely right. I may be turning down the best brain surgeon in the world. I accept that. I'm not going to question what you say there. That's absolutely right. I may be. But what I'm saying is that my opinion, my impression of this person when I'm dealing with them is, why would somebody go and get a tattoo that's visible when they are in that position and they know they're going to be dealing with people who have all kinds of sensitivities?
I'll tell you why. I got 3 done in my last 5 years. And I had a tattoo done when I was 18. And I got it done now, and this don't mean to be rude, it's because I finally at an age now where I'll wear what I want, I'll do what I want, and I don't care what other people think anymore. I put enough of my youth worrying about what people thought, worrying about... Now I just don't care. I want to get a tattoo, I get a tattoo. I want to wear a funky shirt, I'll wear a funky shirt.
I'm all proud of you.
It says nothing else about me other than now I'm just kind of at the age where, you know what, I'm dressing for me and I'm looking like how I want to look for me. Simple as that. Nothing else, nothing mad about it, nothing sinister. Doesn't change one iota who I am. I was the same person the day before I got the tattoo as the day I was after I got the tattoo. So whether I have the tattoos or not make no bearing on me. It actually, the only bearing it makes is I'm actually a bit more free and liberated in my way of thinking. That's it.
As I said, fair play to you. But you're in the one sentence you're talking about tattoos and funky shorts. Do you think Gardaí should be allowed to turn up in funky shorts or whatever else they want to wear?
I don't wear funky shorts.
What even is a funky shirt, lads? I don't even know what one of those is.
Come here. I don't mind if Gardaí says it wears a funk. I don't go to work in my funky shirt. I'm just saying.
Sorry, I need to know.
You've just made the point.
What is a funky shirt?
You have just made the point.
I remove my tattoos. But I still go to work with my tattoos exposed. I paint outside in the summer. I'll wear shorts. I'll wear a T-shirt. All my tattoos are visible. I don't hide them.
With the greatest respect, you say you'll paint outside in the summer. I presume you're a painter.
Yes.
I don't think you're making an equivalence. Now, I'm not saying that
you hang on, Martin. Here's the snobbery coming out now. It's okay. No. Listen to me. It's okay for.
Hang on for a second.
No, you hang on. It's okay for a tradesman, but it's not okay for a professional.
No, that's not what I said.
Yeah, it really kind of is.
No, it's not. I regard tradesmen as professionals if they do a professional job.
You know what I mean.
Hang on for a second. I'm a tradesperson, right? I'm a humble security systems engineer, okay? Now, I meet many people that have tattoos. I'm not going to deny that. It depends on what they're doing. It's nothing to do with snobbery. What I'm talking about is you yourself brought up the point of cabin crew. Why is it that cabin crew, for the most part, maybe there are some airlines in the world, I don't know, but for the most part, cabin crew and the pilots, whatever, are not allowed to have visible tattoos. It has to do with public confidence.
Okay, well, let's ask Funky Shirt Man there. Do you know why they don't?
Why they don't what?
Have visible tattoos, cabin crew.
Cabin crew, that I don't know. A shame. They probably look nice on some of them. But sure, look, that's neither here nor there. But that's for a Gardaí, the way I see it. I'd be more interested when the guard is, and I'm not saying guards are corrupt, but I'd be more interested when the guard is corrupt. I'd be more interested when my pilot is sober. Given it, whether they have a tattoo or not would be the furthest. Now that's just me. The furthest thing from my mind.
Yeah, in fairness, Martin, you're not going to know if the man flying the plane has a tattoo or not, are you? Really?
Of course you're not. In the same way as was just said.
No, but I'm not
going to know.
Listen, if a Garda has a tattoo, I'm picking up on something you said earlier on, right? You'd worry about their judgment that they didn't think that this is going to cause an offence. Would you not be more worried about whether the person is a nice person of moral standard, whether the person is like drunk or incompetent? Just because I know, but like that's more of a worry. Whether the most competent, the point is you have no idea whether a person with tattoos is competent or not, and you're adding something to that confusion that you don't need to add to yourself. You're more worried about the person being competent.
Listen, it's very simple, Eddie. I have on this very show, I have numerous times stipulated that the guards are supposed to do a professional job. They are there to defend the Constitution of this constitutional republic.
But it doesn't say anything in the Constitution that you can't have tattoos.
I know
it doesn't say that.
I never said that. Would you please let me make my point? I never said that. I'm trying to make a point and I'm being interrupted. What I'm talking about is professionalism and professional standards. I have numerous times said I think that the standards within on Garda Síochána are constantly slipping. And I see no good reason to make them slip further. I see guards who couldn't run 100 metres. I'm a 63-year-old man. I could outrun numerous guards that I see that are half my age on the street. I see guards leaning up against walls, doing things with their phone. They're not even.
Okay, let me stop you. Okay,
what's happening around them?
Let me stop you there, Martin, because there's one point I do agree with you on, and I witnessed it myself there at the weekend. I was in the city centre, and there was two members of An Garda Síochána on O'Connell Street, and both of them were. And I'm not fat shaming here, but they were well overweight. They were, I mean, dangerously overweight. And I was thinking to myself, how in God's name are they going to be able to chase some scumbag who's after mugging somebody? I thought that they'd have to have some sort of physical for being a guard. No, I know you need it for a fireman, but obviously not for a guard.
I think what happens is they have to have a physical when they're becoming a guard, but then after that, basically, anything happens. But you see what you're doing now, Jeremy? You could be accused of fat shaming. No, I'm not accusing you of that. I just said I could outrun so many guards that I see that are half my age, and I'm a 63-year-old man.
I know I'm not fat shaming. What I'm saying is, I
didn't say you were. I said you could be accused of it.
Yeah, we should let them accuse me. No, but the point I was making was I thought you would have to be of a certain size and a certain fitness level to be able to be a guard. But obviously that's not the case. Stay there for a second, please, Martin, because it's still a huge reaction to this. By the way, I want to pull you up on something you said a few minutes ago. Did you say that you believe the vast majority of people end up regretting tattoos that they get?
I didn't say the vast majority. I said many of them.
Okay, so that's not vast majority. Okay.
Well, let me put it if I said the vast majority, I misspoke. I didn't mean to say that. But I do know many people that regret. Actually, I will say the majority of people I know over 50 who got tattoos when they were younger regret having gotten them.
Okay, stay there for a second. That's interesting because I want to put it out there as a social experiment, because we're going to wrap up this topic real soon. But I want to put that out there as a social experiment. Martin believes that I don't want to misquote you. You didn't say the majority. You said many.
Yeah, many.
Okay, just want to get the word right. That many people who got tattoos when they were younger now regret them. So I'm going to do a social experiment to either prove Martin right or wrong. Send us a WhatsApp now, 087 188 0008. 087 188 0008. And I want to find one person in the whole of Ireland, or maybe more. Have you a tattoo that you got earlier on in life that you regret now, and why do you regret it? Okay, simple question. If you got a tattoo when you were younger, do you regret it? Martin says a lot of people do regret them. Do you have a tattoo that you got in earlier life that you now regret? And if so, why? Drop me a voice note or a WhatsApp to 087 188 0008. Because I would imagine those people are few and far between. Now, maybe I am completely wrong, and maybe Martin will prove me wrong, but I would imagine those people are few and far between that have tattoos that regret. I just can't see it.
Real people, real opinions, real talk radio. The multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.